performance, your absolute best excellent performance. Will do what we're calling the 10 wonders of Joseph. I hope this will inspire you to your peak performance and absolute best excellent performance. Let's do this. Joseph, you inspire me, and not only me, but so many people around the world. You see, I've been to many places, I've seen many faces in different phases of my life, and they all say the same thing, that how you said no is a wonder. Honestly, Joseph, you're an inspiration not only to our generation, but to each and every generation that will ever be before our Lord Jesus comes to establish his millennial reign. Honestly, Joseph, you inspire us, and you're the greatest mentor of men for men that has ever walked on the surface of the earth. You see, where we come from, men don't say no to such women as you say no to. They don't say no to such an offer as she gave you. Where I come from, they fight for such offers. They pay for such offers, they Google for such offers, they pay with your credit card and subscribe to such offers such as you said no to. And it really amazes the average mind of a man that you could be offered such an offer on a golden platter and say no. Honestly, Joseph, that's for us, it's a wonder. Where we come from, we beg for it, we kneel down for it, and some of us empty their bank accounts for it. Others go bankrupt and others go bananas for it. And there are some places where we worship that which you refuse, Joseph. And so it a bitter logic, it a bitter mind that you could say no. And not only that, it was offered once and you say no, but the absolute amazing discipline that you exhibited in saying no and no again, because she was persistent, really encourages us and inspires us and tells us that even a man can say no. You see, some of our men don't believe that they can say no. When I was growing and I was a boy, I told God, you know, God, if a Mrs. Potiphar came to me and she was hot and wet and willing, I don't know if I can say no. So keep me from a Mrs. Potiphar. But Joseph, you were there with her every day when the husband was away and the servants were away and really no one was around there, but you still said no. Joseph, our hats off, that's a wonder. Thank you, Joseph. You kept off her is a wonder to us, Joseph. How did you keep off this lady that day by day kept persisting that you needed to do this for her? You see, our offer was given and it was also loaded on you by the reason of our persistent. You see, where I come from, men don't keep off. They are like moths flying around a light, and until they are burnt to ashes, that's when they keep off. Where I come from, men beg you and keep on begging, and until they get it, they don't keep off. It's only once they get it is when they pretend to keep off, so that you don't think that you overpower them. But seriously, most of them have already been conquered by the time they try to pretend to keep off. But for you, you kept off when the deal was too good to be true. The record says that, and Joseph kept off and never wanted to be near her. For us, we are always gravitating towards being near them, so that perhaps the crabs that fall off the table of their interest in us can be grappled with. But for you, when it was still a trophy, when it was still unwrapped, wow, Joseph, you're an inspiration for 6,000 years. We salute you, Joseph. Thank you. We can't forget the sense of honor, Joseph. It takes a great man to honor a man that has made him a slave. It takes a great man to speak about the goodness of such a man when he's absent to his wayward wife. You see, you'd have taken advantage of his wayward wife, and because she was offering you that what she's not supposed to honor you, but instead of speaking evil about the absent man that had not disciplined his wife, in such a way that she should do this for you or to you, you decided to represent that man in counseling his wife, and you told her that this man is a good man, this man is a great man, this man has kept me from you, so I can't touch you because I'm a man of honor, and I honor your hubby, I honor my boss while he was absent. Your sense of honor, Joseph, is amazing. Thank you, Joseph, for inspiring our young men and our married men. Thumbs up, Joseph. And of your fear of God is absolutely mesmerizing to us, Joseph. You see, in the last days, men will be lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. You are not like that. Here, where I come from, men will put their hands in their pocket and they will pay $10,000 for a night of rump sex with a strange woman, and they will not give $1 even for the work of God, Joseph. This is how crazy our world has become. Men surely have become lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. You see, where I come from, they presume that they will get into the offers of the bedroom and then they will repent later. They, after the action, they go and brood over their sin and pretend they are sorrowful for their sin, and then they go back to God later after they had their pleasure. They want to have their cake and have it. And that's why for us, when you said no to that woman, we knew this would be a rallying point for generations. It's a wonder. Wonder of the presence of God in your life is an inspiration to us, Joseph. You see, when you were in the prison, the Lord was with you, as the record says. When you are a slave, slaving your way faithfully, the record says that the Lord was with Joseph, and whatever Joseph did, the same prospered. It's not the same where I come from, because when we start to flat of our phone, we relegate God to a sea of forgetfulness. When we go to sleep over in our friends' houses, we relegate God to the area in our mind where it's supposed to be under lock and key. When we go to the Google to Google those girls that are naked, we relegate God to a place where He can't see us and we can't see Him. How you thrived in Egypt without a Bible, without a fellowship, without a pastor, for us that's a wonder. But we know where your power was from. You consciously walked with your God, and so it was easy for you to live out your life and to live your dream. Thank you, Joseph, for inspiring us. Wherever we are, we should value our conscious effort to be with God in whatever that we are doing. Thank you, Joseph. And of your flight from that woman is an amazing rallying point. We will discuss that for a time in eternity. You see how you ran from this wet and willing girl, and you said no as you ran and left your clothes off. It completely goes against the western mind, the eastern mind, and the southern and the northern minds. Where we come from, we men, we don't run from women. We men gravitate towards such women as ready and willing to offer us what it is that we are always looking for. We men don't usually run from women. We usually want to be friends with their girlfriends and boyfriends and relatives so that we can get perhaps their numbers, and all that we do while we are flirting is at least to know how to get to their nerves, how to get to their panties, how to get into their bedroom, how to get into their space, and to break each and every resistance so that we can have them where we want to have them. But you are completely amazing just because you're running away from a woman, and this picture is strange. Even when we try to think about it, it's not really clear to us how you did it, but you did it, and we thank God for you, because we know that we can also run from a hot and horny woman. And thank God for you, Joseph. We wanna know how to do this, but I know you've already done your bit, and we are following after your footsteps. Thank you for being a role model to our generation. Wonder of your silence in the face of the false accusation that you raped this girl, yet you ran away from her, yet you protected from the wrath of her husband. If in case he'd have known that you slept with her, you protected her dignity by actually being a good man. You protected her work by being a faithful servant, but you kept silent when it matters most, and you chose to go to prison rather than having a counterlocution with her on this account. Makes you like Christ, who in the face of his accusers, he decided to shut up, and he won by keeping quiet, because sometimes it's not about what we say, but it's about who we are. And sometimes it's not about what we say and how we defend ourselves, but how God comes in through for us, because he's a righteous judge, and in his time he makes sure things beautiful, because righteousness and justice are the foundations of a throne. And we know that even when they accuse us falsely, he himself will vindicate us in his time. Thank you for this powerful lesson, Joseph. We salute you. Wonder of how you bloomed where you were planted is also an inspiration to all of us. In the pit, you never gave up. In the house of Potiphar, you never gave up, but became the best at what you did. In the work of Potiphar, and being a manager of all that he had. And when you went to prison, you never shut down, and you never got quiet, but you learned all that you could. And all of a sudden, we heard that you are the great man in prison. You are the first in prison, you are the leader in prison, and you are in charge of all the others in prison. And we get amazed at how a man suffering a kind of injustice that he was subjected to will not give up and will not become sorry for himself and shut down, but instead you decided just to bloom wherever you are planted. This is the greatest motivation of all time, Joseph, and may we bloom where we are planted by the reason of your motivation. Thank you. The wonder of your forgiveness makes you like Christ. It's only Christ that forgave his enemies to the degree that you forgave your brothers, for you reason that all things work together for good to them love God, those who are called according to his purposes. That what they did and desired for evil was actually for good, to keep them from famine, starving to death in time of famine. And not only did you forgive them, but you showed them the magnanimity of your Christ-like love when you not only just gave them food for a few days, but you called them to come over and see your glory in Egypt, and you gave them the best land in Goshen, where they thrived for the rest of their time in Egypt. Your forgiveness humbles us. Thank you, just